In the summer of 2026, while 48 nations competed in the World Cup, a different selection process began inside global testing centers. This chart tracks the word counts for English reading passages on China's Gaokao exam. For decades, students prepared for a 300-word standard. In 2026, that limit was shattered. One passage hit 1,100 words, and another reached 750, all without adding a single minute to the clock. The math section followed the same pattern of sudden escalation. It introduced the formal logic of university-level set theory, forcing students to interpret complex mathematical symbols they had never seen in a high school textbook. In the United States, the SAT underwent a parallel shift. Long-form reading passages were expanded to cover 35% of the entire test, significantly increasing the volume of information students had to digest. The content of those passages became noticeably more difficult. Instead of contemporary literature, students were tasked with deciphering the religious riddles and ancient syntax found in the medieval Exeter book. Within the same hour, the test would pivot from medieval riddles to technical data regarding microgravity biology on the International Space Station. These changes reflect more than a new curriculum. They are a systematic removal of the predictable routines that students have relied on for generations. This raises a question. Why are the world's most influential education boards suddenly demanding that teenagers process information at this extreme speed and variety? The shift in the classroom mirrors a shift in what the global economy is starting to value and who it is beginning to prioritize. To understand the new logic of these tests, we have to look at the massive influx of capital into a very specific kind of technology. That same summer, two massive events occurred: the World Cup across North America and SPCX's historic IPO on the NASDAQ. The World Cup represents the peak of traditional wealth. It relies on geography, physical stadiums, and the finite attention of fans gathered in a specific place. SPCX represents a different model. It is built on technological capital that seeks to move beyond physical boundaries and expand the reach of the global infrastructure. The market signaled a preference for this model. SPCX's $1.75 trillion valuation was high enough that the NASDAQ rewrote its listing rules, allowing the company to enter the index in just 15 days instead of the usual year. The World Cup itself highlighted this new hierarchy. Broadcasting the tournament's high-definition data streams globally required the Starlink network, orbital infrastructure that the tournament had no choice but to use. This prioritization of orbital infrastructure and technical scaling over legacy business models has created a new requirement for the people who will run these systems. As technical capital takes a larger role in the economy, the demand for human cognitive traits is changing. The workforce is being filtered for those who can manage data at the same scale as the machines. AI developers measure progress through context length. This is what new exams test in humans: cognitive bandwidth. The Gaokao's word count surge acts as a stress test for a student's mental RAM, measuring their ability to maintain logic through a massive, high-speed information stream. The second metric is zero-shot learning, the ability to walk into an unfamiliar situation and instantly reconstruct a logical path forward. By forcing students to navigate medieval riddles or orbital biology without preparation, the SAT measures their ability to adapt thinking to an unknown dataset. The goal of standardized testing has shifted. It is no longer about checking what a student has memorized, but how fast their brain can adapt to the unknown. The classroom has become a throughput center. The goal is to identify the few who can manage the massive information flow of the current economy. Those who rely on traditional, localized expertise and the slow, meticulous following of established rules are finding their roles quickly becoming automated. As AI takes over routine intellectual labor, the students who cannot match the machine's bandwidth risk being relegated to a new class of cognitive laborers, whose skills are easily replaced. Modern education is now designed to separate those who can navigate high-dimensional data from those who are limited by the old, linear way of thinking. The summer of 2026 suggests the emergence of a world divided by how fast we can think. These exams are selecting for a new group of specialists who possess the adaptability to work alongside and manage advanced machine intelligence. With the economy increasingly dependent on orbital networks and AI, the trajectory of human development has moved toward these higher cognitive requirements. The tests are no longer about what you know. They have become a measurement of how quickly you can process the unknown, in a time when the machines already know everything else.